You have heard of Blackbeard. Everyone has. The beard. The slow-burning fuses tied into his hair during battle so his face was permanently on fire. The 14 guns strapped across his chest. Ships surrendering before he fired a single shot. Cool guy. Very scary. Completely not the most dangerous pirate who ever lived. The actual record holder is someone you have almost certainly never heard of. And when you find out who it is, you are going to feel a very specific kind of betrayed by your entire history education. But we have to do Blackbeard first. Because understanding why everyone knows him is the only way to understand why the real answer is so embarrassing. Edward Teach operated in the Caribbean between roughly 1716 and 1718. 2 years. That is the entire career. The most famous pirate in history had an active career of approximately 2 years. 2 years. Your average YouTube channel has been active longer than Blackbeard's piracy career. What Blackbeard understood, better than almost anyone, was that reputation was a weapon. A ship that surrendered without fighting cost him nothing. A ship that fought back cost him men, ammunition, and time. So he invested everything into being terrifying. The burning fuses in the hair, theater. The 14 guns across the chest, theater. The stories he encouraged about himself, that he had made a deal with the devil, that he was impossible to kill, theater. It worked perfectly. Ships gave up without a fight. Blackbeard took prizes with almost no violence because the threat of violence was enough. He was eventually killed in November 1718, shot 5 times and stabbed 20 times before he went down. Even his death became mythology. 2 years, 50 ships, legend for 300 years. Now, meet the person who made that look like a warm-up act. Bartholomew Roberts. You have not heard of him. Almost nobody has. No Hollywood movie, no theme park ride, no beard anyone remembers. What he has instead is a record. Between 1719 and 1722, 3 years, Bartholomew Roberts captured approximately 400 ships. 400. Let that sit for a moment. Blackbeard, 50 ships, 2 years. Most famous pirate in history. Roberts, 400 ships, 3 years. Who? That is not a typo. That is not an exaggeration. That is the documented historical record. At his peak, Roberts was operating with a fleet of 4 ships and crews numbering in the hundreds. He disrupted Atlantic trade so severely that insurance rates for shipping doubled during his active years. Governments sent warships specifically to catch him. Multiple times. He evaded them all. And he did all of this while drinking tea. We will come back to the tea. Roberts was Welsh, born around 1682. He was not some lifelong criminal. He was a merchant sailor who was captured by pirates in 1719 while serving as second mate on a slave ship off the coast of West Africa. The pirates who captured him were led by a captain named Howell Davis. Roberts joined the crew. Within 6 weeks, Howell Davis was dead. The crew voted. Roberts was elected captain. 6 weeks as a pirate, 0 experience as a captain. And a crew of experienced pirates looked at him and said, "Yeah, you should be in charge." He was apparently that good. This is also the moment to explain something about pirate crews that nobody tells you. They were surprisingly democratic. The captain was elected. The captain could be voted out. Plunder was divided according to a signed contract. Everyone got a say in major decisions. Pirates invented workplace democracy before most countries invented democracy. Make of that what you will. Roberts immediately established a code for his ships. It has survived in historical records and it is remarkable. Every crew member got a vote in major decisions. Every crew member got a fixed share of captured goods. No gambling on board. Lights out by 8 in the evening. No women allowed on board. Any man who deserted in battle lost his share. Any man who stole from a crewmate lost his ears and his nose. And Roberts himself did not drink at all. Not rum, not wine, nothing. He drank tea. The most successful pirate in the history of the Atlantic Ocean was a Welsh teetotaler who had a strict bedtime policy and made his crew sign a behavioral contract. This is not what the movies told you piracy looked like. 400 ships sounds impossible, so let us make it concrete. Roberts hit the coast of Newfoundland and captured an entire harbor in a single raid, 22 ships at once. Not 22 ships over a career, 22 ships in one afternoon. He moved to West Africa and disrupted the slave trade so severely that the Royal African Company formally complained to the British government. He captured the governor of Martinique. He captured the governor of Newfoundland. He designed his own personal flag, showing himself standing on two skulls labeled ABH and AMH, a Barbadian's head and a Martinican's head. He had personal grudges against these governments and chose to advertise them on his flag. He was not hiding. He was not operating in the shadows. He was operating openly, at enormous scale, with a personal flag listing his grievances for 3 years straight. And he dressed impeccably the entire time. Contemporary accounts describe him as always wearing fine clothes. Professional standards. February 1722. A British naval vessel called HMS Swallow caught up with Roberts' fleet off the coast of West Africa. Roberts was killed in the battle, shot in the throat. He died almost immediately. His crew, following his instructions, threw his body overboard in full battle dress before surrendering. They did not want the British to have his body. The battle resulted in the largest piracy trial in history. 262 crew members were tried. 54 were hanged, the rest imprisoned or acquitted. The death of Bartholomew Roberts effectively ended the Golden Age of Piracy. Not Blackbeard's death in 1718, Roberts' death in 1722. Because Roberts was the one actually keeping the Golden Age going. Blackbeard was the legend. Roberts was the engine. Blackbeard operated near the American colonial coast. Colonial newspapers covered him obsessively. A book published in 1724 made him famous across the English-speaking world. Roberts operated primarily in the open Atlantic and off the coast of West Africa. His story was in the same book in equal detail. But he was not the American colony's local problem. He was an Atlantic problem. And Atlantic problems are harder to turn into mythology. Roberts also had no gift for self-mythology. He did not set himself on fire. He did not claim to drink gunpowder. He just showed up, operated at a scale nobody else could match, dressed extremely well, drank his tea, and won. Constantly. For 3 years. Against everyone. Blackbeard understood that fear is a weapon. He built a legend and used it to win without fighting. Roberts understood that scale, discipline, and consistency are weapons. He built an operation and used it to win everything else. One career lasted 2 years and produced a myth that has lasted 3 centuries. One career lasted 3 years and produced a record that has never been broken. One of them you have known your entire life. One of them you learned about today. The scariest pirate in history kept a strict bedtime, banned gambling, and drank tea. And somehow, that is scarier than the guy with fire in his beard.